On Beerus's planet. Beerus, the god of destruction of the seventh universe, sat on his cushion on his planet, surrounded by a table laden with exotic and delicious dishes he had brought back from Earth. Earthly cuisine had become one of his great passions. Savoring each bite with a combination of pleasure and characteristic indifference, Beerus seemed relaxed. However, something was deeply troubling him. For the past few weeks, Beerus had been having disturbing dreams. Intense, vivid dreams in which he came face to face with a figure he knew all too well. His father, BERRUS, the former god of destruction. BERRMUR was identical to Beerus and his twin brother Champa, with one notable exception: his imposing musculature and frighteningly powerful presence. Beerus knew his father had died millennia ago, but these dreams brought back memories from long ago. Memories Beerus never knew he had. These visions repeated themselves with disconcerting frequency. BERRMUR appeared on the devastated battlefields, fighting a massive enemy shrouded in shadows. There was something familiar about this opponent, but Beerus couldn't quite place who or what he was. The only thing that was clear was the hatred in his eyes. "This is getting on my nerves," Beerus muttered between bites as he gazed up at the vast starry sky of his planet. Beside him, Whis, Beerus's angel and mentor, watched calmly, as always. "Is something bothering you, Lord Beerus?" Whis asked, polishing his staff with a peaceful gleam in his eyes. Beerus dropped a piece of meat onto his plate with a sigh. "Of course it is. These dreams, or rather these memories, they don't make sense. Why now? Why am I dreaming about my father? He's been dead for so long." Whis tilted his head slightly in thought and said, "Memories are curious things, Lord Beerus. They can be triggered by external forces or even unknown energies. Perhaps there is something more behind it." Beerus frowned, feeling uneasy at the idea that something was happening outside of his control. He, the god of destruction, did not like the feeling of helplessness. However, before he could respond, the air around him began to vibrate with an intense unknown energy. Whis, ever alert, raised an eyebrow as his staff glowed. It seems we have an unexpected visitor." A fissure in the fabric of space began to form in front of Beerus, and from within it emerged a tall, imposing figure. His purple skin was similar to that of Beerus and Champa, but his musculature was much more developed, and his presence carried an overwhelming weight. Beerus recognized the figure immediately, but his mind refused to believe it. "Impossible!" Beerus muttered, feeling his heart beat faster, and said, "Father, how can this be possible? How are you here?" BERRMUR, the former god of destruction, walked towards Beerus with a firm gaze. BERRMUR, with his overwhelming presence, filled the planet with an aura of power and said, "Finally, we meet again." Whis, for his part, seemed calm but surprised. "Well, this is something I didn't expect to see. The former god of destruction of the seventh universe is still alive." Beerus stood, his body tense. "How are you alive? You died millennia ago. I witnessed it myself." BERRMUR smiled darkly, his eyes carrying the weight of countless ages. "You're right, I did die. But as you may have noticed from your dreams, there's more at stake than you realize. What you were seeing were not mere dreams, but memories that I left with you." "Memories?" Beerus narrowed his eyes. "Why? What are you hiding?" BERRMUR took a deep breath, looking up at the vast sky of Beerus's planet, as if bracing himself for a momentous revelation. "I faced a powerful enemy before my fall, a being whose race was eradicated by my hand. They were a threat to the balance of the universe, yet the last of their kind survived. They swore vengeance, not only against me, but against all creation." The air grew thick with the tension of BERRMUR's words, and Beerus felt a chill run down his spine. "Who is this being?" "His name is Seth," BERRMUR replied, his voice deep and solemn. "He was the last survivor of an ancient race that defied the rule of the gods of destruction. His strength was unmatched, and his hatred grew over the ages. I faced him and defeated him, but I did not destroy him completely. Now, he has returned, stronger and more furious than ever." Whis, who had been listening intently, interjected. "If this being is so dangerous, why didn't you destroy him completely when you had the chance?" BERRMUR closed his eyes for a moment, as if recalling a fatal mistake. "I underestimated his resilience. I thought he could cause no more trouble, but it seems time and hatred have fueled him in ways I didn't foresee." Beerus clenched his fists. "So, those dreams, did you leave them with me so I would know he was coming back?" "Yes," BERRMUR confirmed. "But I didn't expect him to return so quickly. He seeks to destroy not just you, Beerus, but all the universes." Beerus's mind was buzzing with information. He was accustomed to facing powerful enemies, but an opponent with such a grudge, and one who had already faced his father, made him uneasy. "So what do we do now?" Beerus asked. his voice firm and determined. BERRUS looked directly at Beerus. "We prepare, and we fight. This time, there will be no room for mistakes. The fate of the universes depends on it." And so father and son, two gods of destruction, found themselves united by a common cause to stop the threat that could bring absolute chaos to the multiverse. Seth's return would mark the beginning of a new and terrible battle, one that would go beyond the power of a single god of destruction. BEERMUR watched Beerus with a penetrating gaze, as if he were assessing every aspect of his son's power. The tension between the two was palpable, and Whis, standing nearby, sensed that something was about to happen. "You are not ready, Beerus," BEERMUR declared with a coldness that cut through the air. "What lies ahead is not something you can face in your current state." Beerus, known for his pride and fiery temper, did not take these words lightly. "How dare you underestimate me, father? I am the god of destruction of the 7th universe. I have faced formidable enemies and emerged victorious." BEERMUR took a step forward, his oppressive presence growing. "Do you think your title makes you invincible? Do not mistake your status for absolute power." His deep voice echoed, filled with authority. "Do you want to prove that you are ready? Then fight me here and now." Whis took a few steps back, watching the exchange with interest. He knew that this duel was not just a show of physical strength, but a battle of wills between two gods. Beerus hesitated for a moment, but his pride wouldn't let him back down. "Very well," he said, assuming his fighting stance, his eyes burning with determination. "Let's see who's underestimating who." In an instant, the battlefield was set. BEERMUR stood still while Beerus charged forward in a burst of speed. The impact of their blows echoed across the planet, the air vibrating with the destructive energy of both. However, the difference in power between them soon became apparent. Every attack Beerus made, no matter how powerful, was blocked with ease by BEERMUR. The former god of destruction moved with terrifying grace, dodging blows and counter-attacking with brutal precision. Before long, Beerus began to feel the weight of the fight. His breathing quickened and his muscles burned with exertion, while BEERMUR didn't even seem to pant. "Is that all?" BEERMUR asked with a hint of disappointment in his voice, dodging yet another punch. "You're far from ready, Beerus." Before Beerus could react, BEERMUR delivered a devastating blow to his son's abdomen, sending him flying meters away. Beerus fell heavily to the ground, his body aching and humiliated. He tried to get up, but his limbs were shaking. BEERMUR walked slowly toward him without a hint of arrogance. "You have potential, Beerus, but you're stuck in your complacency. You're strong, yes, but not strong enough for what's to come." Beerus, panting and with his pride wounded, looked at his father. "So what do you suggest?" BEERMUR held out his hand, helping Beerus to his feet. "I'll train you the way I should have from the beginning. We have no time to waste. Seth is approaching, and he won't come alone." Whis, who had watched the battle in silence, smiled slightly. "It seems interesting times lie ahead." Beerus stared out at the vast horizon, feeling a mixture of anger and determination in his heart. He didn't like being defeated, least of all by his own father, but something inside him knew that BEERMUR was right. Seth was a threat unlike anything he had ever faced. "Let's begin then," Beerus said, his eyes burning with new conviction. The training for the war against Seth had begun. Guys, with this, we will end today's video. I know it's boring, but we'll see you in the next video. Leave lots of likes on the video and comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So, see you another day, guys.